Hello, good evening all. Today again I am back to explain few important questions of previous AIMS paper through my presentation. So here let's start the question one by one. Here you can see the first question. In previous class we discussed 10 questions, right? So now we can see the 11th question of that paper. Here you can see the first question. What is that? Which of the part of the brain controls the temperature? Which part of the brain controls the temperature? All we know. So this is a common question. In each and every paper you can see this question. And the answer is the hypothalamus. Right? The answer is the hypothalamus. And next you can see that. Okay. Here. How many cranial nerves are there in the spinal cord? How many cervical nerves are there in the spinal cord? Okay, you know the difference between spinal nerves and cranial nerves, and we know that 12 pairs of cranial nerves are present, but here they ask the question, how many cervical nerves are present in the spinal cord? And do you know how many spinal nerves are there? Almost 31 pairs of spinal nerves you can see, and in that the cervical nerves, 8 cervical nerves are present in the spinal cord, right? In that 31 pairs, 8 nerves, okay, 8 pairs of cervical nerves you can see, and 12 thoracic nerves, 5 lumbar nerves, and 5 sacral, and 1 coccygeal, right? Okay, next. And uh, here and this is also important point here. Cervical nerves, 8 nerves of cervical nerves are there, but the vertebrae, 7 cervical vertebrae are there. Okay, so this one you can remember and don't be confused. Cervical vertebrae, 7 cervical vertebrae you can see, and cervical nerves are 8 cervical nerves. You can see, right? Next, fourth question. The elbow joint is an example of which joint? Synovial joint or hinge joint? Any guess? The elbow joint is an example of a hinge joint, right? The elbow joint is example of hinge joint and hinge joint. So actually what is the meaning of this hinge joint? Hinge joint allows the movement, okay, the joint allows, the hinge joint also allows the movement only in one plane, okay, one side, only one side the joint make movement, right? Okay, so here the examples of hinge joint are elbow joint, knee joint, and finger joint, and toe joints. Okay, and not only that, ankle joints also. The finger joint, nothing but we can also call interphalangeal joint, and toe joint, interphalangeal joints in toe, and ankle joint, tibio-talar joint also we can call. The next one, 14th question, you can see expanded end of long bones are called. Expanded ends of long bones are called. Here you can see the diagram of a bone. Okay, diagram of the bone, and it is a structure of the long bone. Here expanded, here you can see the expanded structure. Expanded end of long bone called epiphysis. Okay, end of the bone, end of the bones you can call epiphysis, and the middle structure called diaphysis, right? Okay, the next 15th one. The posterior pituitary consists of, the posterior pituitary consists of which type of cells? Okay, the posterior pituitary consists of, and here you can see which question now, 15th, right? 15th question. So which cells it contain? I give you options: beta cells, C cells, T cells, or neuronal projections. Okay, neuronal projection. The answer is neuronal projections. Actually, what is a neuronal projections? Why the posterior pituitary gland contains neuronal projection? Why? Because the posterior pituitary derived from neural ectoderm layer. Neural ectoderm layer. So that's why it consists of neuronal projections. Okay, so the posterior pituitary gland derived from neuronal ectoderm, so that's why it contains the cells which is related to neuron. Okay, so that's why we can call neuronal projections. And all we know that the posterior pituitary gland produce two hormones. That one is vasopressin, and you can also call the vasopressin, and it is also called ADH, antidiuretic hormone, and the second hormone, it releases oxytocin. Okay, then next question. Next question you can see. Next 16th question. Okay, just look out the 16th question. Which of the hormone not secreted by anterior pituitary gland? Which of the hormone is not secreted by anterior pituitary gland? Anterior pituitary gland. Okay, and oxytocin. Okay, in previous question I said already the the hormones of posterior pituitary gland, oxytocin and vasopressin. Here they ask the question anterior pituitary gland. Anterior pituitary, oxytocin is not related to anterior pituitary, it is related to the posterior. And do you know what are the hormones secreted by this anterior and posterior? And here you can see the hormones of anterior pituitary and the hormones of posterior pituitary. Just you remember this one, the posterior. Except this oxytocin and antidiuretic hormone or vasopressin, all the hormones come from anterior pituitary, right? So here just you remember this hint. Google Translate app for PC LB Media. Okay, GTAFPLM. Okay, just you remember this sentence, and by using this sentence you can make these hormones, right? Growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotrophic hormone, follicular stimulating hormone, prolactin hormone, lysine hormone, melanocyte stimulating hormones. Okay, these are all the hormones secreted by this anterior pituitary. And two hormones, oxytocin and antidiuretic hormone or vasopressin secreted by posterior pituitary. Then next 17th question. DAS is a cell that manufactures and stores the protein keratin. Simple. What is the answer? So protein keratin. Which cell stores the protein keratin? So the answer is keratinocyte. Okay, so keratinocyte is also one of the skin cells, and these keratinocytes are present, majority of keratinocytes are present in epidermis. So nothing but outer most layer of the skin, right? Okay, then next 18th example of synarthrosis joint. Okay, and do you know the classification of joints based on the function? Okay, now you can see, right? And the answer is fibrous joint. Okay, fibrous joint is example of synarthrosis. Okay, based on the function of the joints are classified into three types. Okay, one is synarthrosis, amphiarthrosis and diarthrosis. Synarthrosis is nothing but immovable joints, amphiarthrosis slightly movable joint, diarthrosis freely movable joint. And example, the best example of synarthrosis skull suture, amphiarthrosis lamina vertebrae, and diarthrosis synovial, right? Okay, then next 19th question. Hormone that inhibits the growth hormone. Which hormone inhibits the growth hormone? Answer is somatostatin. Okay, the one more name for this somatostatin is growth hormone inhibiting hormone, right? Okay, then next one, let's see the next question. See here. Alright, okay, then the main function of oxytocin. Do you know how many functions are there in how many functions are there for this hormone oxytocin? And the main function of oxytocin is childbirth and lactation. Okay, then apart from this, how many functions are there? Let's see. Okay, here you can see the main function is childbirth and for the lactation, and it is also used for recognition, and it is also make trust between people, and it is also useful for romantic attachment, and it is also essential for parent and infant bonding. Okay, the next question. Following vaccine is not related to MMR vaccine. Do you know the abbreviation? So this MMR, the full form of MMR is measles, mumps, and rubella. So rickets is not related to MMR vaccine, right? Okay. The next, who devised the autoclave? Who devised the autoclave for sterilization? Okay, so who devised the autoclave for sterilization was Charles Chamberlain. Okay, Charles Chamberlain. Just for your understanding purpose, CC you can remember CC, right? Okay, the next one. Vidal is a serological test, and this test is used to detect the which fever or which pathogenic organism, that is Salmonella typhi. Okay, Salmonella typhi. Okay, right. The next one. Lyme disease causative agent is what is a Borrelia bardoferi, right? Okay, the next one, 25th question. Gonorrhea causative organism, Neisseria gonorrhea. The next one, ideal temperature for autoclave. All we know that, so there is a very common question. Ideal temperature for autoclave is answer 121 degrees Celsius, and the time period is 30 minutes.